yesterday's video, I discussed the dirty culture, the crazy culture. It may take a lifetime to dehypnotize from it. That's how embedded it is as we go along with consensus and go along with the others. It took me a while too, even though I had an immediate revelation of what this was all about. It's still in there because it's inscripted in the brain and the GSR and the nervous system. And everybody else is acting a certain way. And if you hang out with people, it just comes right in you. It may take a long time. It may be like Paul, a sudden conversion from the old life, seeing how ridiculous and dirty it all was, how immoral. You could come right out of it. It can happen either way. So I pray yours is instantaneous today. If you think for yourself, you lose the group's protection in the human species. They're all about consensus, and they'll do anything to maintain consensus. If somebody goes against that, you are the enemy. And it could be that everybody hates you. Everybody in the family, the group, even the church, the small town, the neighborhood, the coffee clutch, the female community, all your husband's friends, everybody turns against you. That's consensus. It's a matter of survival for them because they're pea brains. All they have is this majority opinion, whereas you're above all that. And before you are marked as a discoverer or great path breaker or forerunner in your field, everybody may hate you. It is the main obstruction on the hero's path to get past the human obstruction to your enlightenment. You're coming to the fore. God has a purpose in you. He wants to bring this amazing new dent to the earth. He's doing it through you. But you have to overcome the herd first. And it ain't easy. Pea brains go along with the herd because they get protection that way. And they can also scapegoat other people with full protection, even killing anything. So you see, you lose protection, and that's real important in the human species. It's like the lone wolf in a wolf pack. If they're different or unique from the pack, they often die of starvation. They lose protection of the pack. It's the same thing. People want protection. I want protection. It's one of the main reasons for marriage. Protection. And so it's like a double-edged sword, really. You're all alone, you're hated, and you lose the most important thing, protection in the species. So I will pray for you. I will pray that anybody who has a new thought or theory in your field, a new way of doing things, can overcome this giant, massive obstruction in dense environments to new ideas. If you go against the grain, you lose the comfort of being with something bigger. Everybody in the herd feels like they're part of something bigger than them. That's very comforting. Even though it's totally wrong, even though they commit atrocities, even though it's a falsehood, inefficacious, they can feel like they're part of something bigger. But you can feel that way too, because you have a higher power, God. And even though 10,000 are against you, it says in the Psalms, you will win out. One man can be a majority. Most people will choose the masses. They will choose consensus. And this is why stupidity wins out so easily. You watch the news and you think, how could people think like this? How could stupidity win? In the courts, in education, in academia, stupidity wins. Because consensus. It's a survival thing of the masses. Survival. Only when a charismatic leader establishes a revitalization movement and it's a mass readjustment to a new beat, you're in the new revolution, the amazing new dent has been made, then they can be part of that consensus, something bigger. But until then, they just can't. Free thinkers save the human race from complete barbarism. They would decay into nothing, just killing each other. But you've got to have somebody that God is coming through to change the beat. They march to a certain drummer, but you change the beat. But you've got all of humanity to overcome first. It's part of what brings you to wholeness. It brings you to maturity as a thinker or a creator. It's your last part of the journey, the hero's path, is to overcome this. It's not easy, but it can be done, and it brings exhilaration when you finally make that dent, and then with full acceptance, because they will all readjust and accept you. Asking you to lose respect for somebody who has no morality about adultery, murder, stealing, thieving, all these things. And see that that same person respects consensus. If everybody thinks it, that is their only morality. I'm asking you to lose respect for that and have respect for the loner who has true morality and won't transgress God's laws. That's all that matters, not this other thing that is cyclical all through history, up and down, up and down, up and down. It keeps changing. No, that's not morality. Can't you see that if somebody is part of the herd, they can act without retaliation? They can do anything they want to you because the group is behind them? What cowards! They're cowards. They're weaselly, measly cowards. Yeah, I saw that. A lot of women see that in their husbands suddenly. What a coward. Because he's a social manipulator. He's got people behind him, maybe his first family, maybe even his previous wife. The stepchildren are on his side. They hate you because of the evil stepmother syndrome is evoked. Yeah, the herd behind them, even though they may be a drunkard and not doing anything with their life, they've got the herd behind them. And they can retaliate against you without any problem, without any punishment. That's how serious this is. And it's really serious. The wife of the alcoholic syndrome, I went through this, and everybody hated me. Now, my mother went through it. She was a wife of an alcoholic, and I remember so clearly. This is before I went off to graduate school to learn about it more precisely. Everybody hated her. She was the problem. He could drink all he wanted. He was just a mildly souse drinking. Nobody really saw the issue with him. But she went wild dealing with that sick system of the alcoholic family system. And everybody wanted to commit her. She was the one. It's really hard. My hat's off to anybody who can adapt to an alcoholic and live through it. I wrote my PhD dissertation on the wife of the alcoholic syndrome because to me, it described system theory. How the wife gets sicker than the alcoholic in her maladaptation to the problem. She suffers in her appearance, for one thing. A woman's looks and appearance suffers if she's being insulted and put down in a marriage. And then she becomes the abuser. At least in everybody's eyes. He actually is, but he can get around it with social manipulation and hiding it in public, but behind closed doors it's different. wife of the alcoholic, or wife of the gambler, wife of the beater, wife of the, whatever it is, drug addict, wife of the compulsive overeater. These are all addictions. The addictive process destroys the personality, and the wife who adapts to it maladapts. It affects her looks, and then the husband may drink or use more, and there you have the sick system. I was there. People thought I was the abuser. I kept saying, no, I'm not. You don't understand how he talks to me in private. Blah. They don't care. Because people love to hate. They love to hate the female. She is the problem. He's a real nice man. Yeah, because he's a social manipulator. And they don't see the drinking behind the scenes and the insults. So that is a sticky situation. Wife of the alcoholic. My mother did was she got drunk to adapt to the alcoholic. That is the biggest maladaptation of the wife, is to get drunk herself. And then everybody says, she's the alcoholic. Can't you see that? She's a savage. What a system that is. That is the hardest thing to get over, because you get so sad and so down adapting to this environment, because people become the environment they're adapting to. If it's low and drunk and insane, they get low. And they think, I think I'll have some of that beer myself. I need solace. I need to get through this somehow. And that makes you so angry. It triggers the inner submerged anger of living with somebody like that. And then it just comes out. I feel sorry for any wife in that situation. Suffice it to say, you can have paradise in this life. You can have cornucopia. It's a mental thing. Just by knowing what's happening in the human herd, in the sick family system, all these devices I've been talking about, you can overcome it. You can overcome it through education. That's what I'm giving you. Knowledge is the way out. And then at least that gives you a leg up on it. That gives you a way, okay, not to submerge yourself into the insanity, but to transcend it. This channel is about adapting to insanity and overcoming it and doing something great with your life, with God's purpose coming through you. There was a book written in the 70s called Fat is a Feminist Issue. The reason women have trouble losing weight is because they think weight gives them power. In their minds, bulk equals power. No, bulk does not. You ever heard of something called the Lilliputian queens, the tiny queens? They were the most powerful. In early California, they ruled the ranchos. These skinny little queens ruled big men. Power has nothing to do with size, but somehow women got it in their head that they'll lose power if they lose weight. It's all subconscious. You don't lose power, you gain power. Because you go off into a proprioceptive journey from which there's no control, no coming back. It's a reversal of thought. It's living on the sensory system if you're thin. Less is more. It's Einstein who said, least mass brings most creative activity. Least mass. So the less you are in body, the more you are in brain and creativity. What a wonderful thing. But if you're all blocked up with fat and body, that blocks it. You're more dense in your thinking. You're not as creative. It's a hard life carrying around a big body. It really is. But if you get light, everything becomes effortless. It's called Holy Spirit ease. This lady who sought my counseling said, I married this man. He was so great. and he turned into an ogre. He flip-flopped. A complete slob. That's true. A man can be very clean and pure and orderly. The most orderly becomes the most dirty when he flip-flops. Neurologically, it's about the nervous system. There are two separate nervous systems, and alcohol triggers the one and blocks out the other, and he becomes the dirtiest, the most cluttered. You have that reversal between both extremes. It's called enantiodromia, reversing to the other extreme. You don't stay in the middle ground. You're either way here or way there. The best become the worst. It's really sad. You see that. My aunt told me once, Karen, your family tree, your heritage, they were either great orators or they died in the gutter from alcoholism. There was no in between. You've got to not drink and take any drugs. And I listened to that because I knew, boy, people turned against me if I ever took a beer or anything, because the change is immediate. With the mere atom of alcohol, it switches flips the switch. My father was a pharmacist, and it was against the law in California to sell alcohol to an Indian because genetically that switch happened. Genetically. That's not racist to say that. There are genetic things with different races. And that's what I'm talking about. Where the most exalted become the worst. Driving cars off cliffs and just going crazy. Avoid alcohol. Alcohol, and I think other drugs, takes you back to the lizard brain, the reptilian brain. You lose your frontal cortex and you just decline into a reptile, not even a human. A pea brain, no morals. Alcohol is a moral disinhibitor. Reptilian, scary, disgusting. The person you knew becomes like a lizard in functioning and morality. That's what happens. And the wife says, he was so great when I married him. He's a totally different person now. It's scary. And the more exalted you are, the higher you are, the more you will be stripped of your humanity and go back to a lizard. The reptilian brain, look it up. That's what alcohol does. It's called anosognosia, the removal of the right brain, so that you are killing yourself without the ability to see you're killing yourself. So nobody can tell you what you're looking like or anything. Nobody can do any good. Very scary thing, alcohol. There are fruitarians who live on fruit farms, and they have beautiful bodies. They show the theory, it really is. But they eat so much fruit. It is so excessive to me. It's extremely expensive, organic fruit. But of course they live on farms, so that wouldn't apply. And I don't know that the expense has anything to do with it if it does give you such great health. But they eat just wash basins full of salad and just fruit all day long. It's so much fruit. It's so much thinking about fruit. And I don't want that kind of a lifestyle. I don't want to just be burdened with all that. I want minimalism. So I'm kind of a fan of David Wolf. He said, why not take the top superfoods, nutrients that have 10,000 more, literally, micronutrients than regular food. And so I sort of take that. Have your smoothie in the morning filled with things you know are nutritious, like the superfoods, and the organic greens, and the fruit, and the tahini, sesame seed paste. And, okay, that's your meal. Rather than eating all day long. Perhaps it's because I'm older and I've been through all that excess. I don't want excess in my life. I want simplicity, but I want smart thinking at the same time. So that's why I do what I do. I'm not into that so much fruit all day long. No, no, no. I don't want to be thinking about it all day long. I just want to have a plan where I've already thought it out, and that's what I'm doing. Sure, man can live on anything. He's an omnivore. But when I say optimal, I mean anabolic, meaning getting younger, de-aging, youthifying, versus catabolic, which is getting older, premature aging, declining. Catabolic, that's what all the fast food brings you. You're still living, you're functioning, but you're catabolic. I want to be anabolic. I want to increase my lifespan, extend life. So that's why I search for it, fruitarianism, but I just can't do it the way they do it, eating fruit all day long. That's too much. That's absolutely too much. There's got to be a way where we can get the advantage of it in the morning, a big smoothie filled with nutrients, the highest nutrients in the world, with the superfoods in there, and the organic greens and the fruit. Okay, there you've done it. Now some nuts at your desk, or dried fruit, whatever. And once in a while cheese if you want it. But basically you stick to fruits, greens, nuts, and seeds. That's anabolic. Either getting younger or extending your life. Not catabolic. I don't want that. I've been there where I started to decline. Wasn't eating right, or drinking, or taking drugs. Now you're dying, and you're looking like you're dying. So these are two systems that you can control by what you eat or what you delete. Often fruitarian approaches just stick to fruit. They don't bring in God. I'm searching for a higher life where it's easier to get into the spiritual matrix. And diet does that. If I'm eating wrong, filled with grease and just cultural food that isn't even food, with soybean and everything, and all that estrogen, and where men get man boobs from it, it's so destructive. I can't contact God when I don't think of God, I just think of misery when I'm eating wrong. But if I'm on a pure diet, happy, carefree, spiritualized, it's what you call a spiritualization of the tissues and the bloodstream, then I'm more apt to be in that phase where I can be with God, think of God, pray to God, be optimistic. You have to be in an optimistic frame of mind to accept His blessings. Otherwise, you're just going to block them out. Diet is real important, but most fruitarian approaches are by liberals. They don't talk about God. See the link between diet and spirit, body and spirit, through the fruit, through deleting the other foods, and through fasting. That's very spiritualizing. They don't talk about God. Look up any one of the people talking about fruitarianism. They don't bring that in.